Welcome to the Sk8LikeYou podcast.
Yo, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? Oh, God, look at that. Look at all that.
How you doing, man?
I'm all right, man. Is that
Yeah,
all
we
you back there? All skate stuff?
y-
Is that all skate trophies?
uh, most of them are some from baseball, basketball, stuff like that.
Okay, so what percentage is skate?
I'd probably say 80% of it. 80%
Wow.
of it. It's pretty
Wow.
crazy,
Ranging
man. When
from
you and
what? From,
what'd you
what was
say?
that? No,
No,
ranging
go
from
ahead.
like when?
I think I won my first yearly, man, when I was like 8 or 9 years old. Um,
No.
and man, these are just the trophies that survive, like over like the year, you know what I mean? Over like from when I was a child till, grown, from moving and just life in general, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool though.
Cool, cool. Hey, are you able to move over a little bit more into
Yeah,
frame?
I can move, I can move the camera, I can move however you want me to go.
You or whatever, yeah, whatever works. Just
I
get you
can
a
get
little
closer,
more frame.
I can get closer with the camera.
No,
That's
your
however
distance, you were kind of off screen, that's all.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, I can't. It's hard to see me. I can see you real good, which I swear I'd rather have. So good.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
All right, dude.
cool.
Hey, man, thanks so much for doing this.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
sir, man. Yes, sir.
So, so what have you been up to today? What's going on with you today?
Nothing much, man. I mainly was getting all, getting the stuff to set up the podcast for you. So if we're gonna do it, man, we might as well. We're gonna go 110% all the way. You know what
Dude,
I
this
mean?
is
I'm not.
that's absolutely awesome. I love that. That was so cool. I was waiting here. I was waiting for you to get on, and when that popped up, I was like, hell yeah, dude. I was
Yes,
like,
sir.
this
Yes,
is how you
sir.
do it, man. All right, cool. So look, I don't have any kind of format for how I do this. I try and kind of keep it in like some type of sequential order, like based on just how I ask questions. But if you have anything you want to interject, you want to throw in, at any time, any questions, whatever, how it's just going to be what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely.
the one question I always ask people, what like even aside from the pod, I'm always curious because I don't remember learning to skate. Like that's how it's. I kind of relate it to like learning how to walk. Like I don't remember it. Right? I was that young. Do you remember the first time you put on skates?
No, man. So I had two older brothers that skated, and
All right.
my mom skated. So I mean, they got pictures of me at 11 months old with skates on. So technically, they say I was skating before I was walking because I didn't walk till I was like a year, and a month or something like that. So that's the joke we always, that joke in our family. But yeah, man, I was always chasing my older brothers, man. I
All
mean,
right.
I don't know if you got any siblings, but that was always me.
Yeah, man. I'm the youngest. Right. My brother was the first skater. He worked at the rink that we grew up in. And then my sister, and she got into it. She was there. And then I was there. Right. So, like, I mean, we all just kind of followed suit. Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
youngest, my brother was like the man at our rink. Right. In our little spot, in our little pond. My whole thing was I wanted to impress my brother. That was my goal.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
In our
yep.
little because he was crazy. What like when do you like what about what age do you remember or do you know that you were super into this though?
Oh man, I mean, probably, dude. How I skate now, I literally, and this, I mean, I'm probably not as smooth and stuff, but when I was like, I remember doing like 360s when I was 5 years old. So you know what I mean? So, and that's just because at our skating rink back in the day, which was Sunset Skating Center, it was all like pretty much, we had weeklies, we had monthlies, we had yearlies, competitions. Every week it was a disco competition, which is
Okay,
shuffle skating now, but it was disco skating then. So
okay,
like from an early age, it's like it was like competition mode all the time. Everybody's trying to get better, and since you're a younger brother, you kind of know where I'm coming from. as being the younger brother, you're always too young to do the stuff that you want to do with your brothers. And, so I don't know if you like work extra hard or something. I mean, I feel like I did just cause I always wanted to beat them, no matter what it was. I either wanted to be at them, so they're proud of me or, and
Yeah.
it just, I think that's what drove me a lot. So.
Yeah, man. No, I totally get that. So okay, so that's interesting because see, I grew up in a spot like a little podunk rink kind of place, like there wasn't a crew, there weren't like any old heads that like had any particular styles. Like we were all just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but so like, but you're saying like your competition, like it was just always a thing where you skated,
Yeah. 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 Ever since I can remember, man. And then when, Mr. Carter, who was the owner who, had been doing that way before I was even born. Cause that rink's been open forever. I want to say, maybe the 50s or 60s or something like that.
okay.
But when Mr. Carter passed away, the ring kind of fell away a little bit and his son got it. And so, and that was kind of in my later years of kind of getting out of skating. Cause, back then in the 90s, once you got your license, it was like, it wasn't cool to go to the skate rink no more.
Right.
So I kind of grew out of it. So that just like everybody else usually does. And then, came back to it, later on. But, yeah, man, weekly. So they used to call it disco skating. So it would be a disco skating competition. So there were two age groups, girls and boys, and they would have a weekly, every week. So 4 weeks. So you got four winners, boy, girl, both age groups and then they go and compete in a monthly. And then they
Right.
pick one from each boy, girl of each age group, uh, advances to the eliminations, which is you got 12 months, you got 12 people, then they narrow it down to four the next weekend, and that's called the yearly, and that's like the big event. Everybody used to dress up in suits and tuxes. I mean, and like all the girls had nice dresses and like the mamas would spend, I remember my mom making my little sisters like yearly dress for like 2 months before it, man. So it was a big thing, where we're
Wow.
from. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's
The
like church.
talent,
People got
man,
dressed up
I'm
like
telling you,
church.
the talent back then at that rink, cause like, man, I pulled my style from so many different people. Like, even our owner, owner of scooters now, which is, Scott, he's probably one of the smoothest dudes you'll ever see shuffle skate, him and Brian Bowen. So like growing up, seeing them, I always want to emulate that, plus kind of make
Yeah.
my own. And then my oldest brother, he was kind of wild with his arms, but my middle brother, he was just kind of smooth too. So it's like, you kind of take stuff what you learn from everybody and just kind of put it to your own. And then, but yeah, back then, man, I remember Eric Johnson doing doubles, like
Mm.
one 360 in the air, two 360 air, come down, like, bro, and I haven't seen that in probably 20 years. I can still do one and a half, but I just can't take myself to go a whole double yet. So,
Right.
and I don't need to be getting hurt no more.
So, how old were you when you like got into your first crew?
Well, man, so that's the thing. Back then, like, there was really no crews. Every now and again we would have a group come from, and this is where and I always wanted it as young as when I was younger. But it was always some older guys, man, that used to come from like Raleigh, and they would come, man. They used to always have like the crazy skate shirts, all matching, had their name on the back, And
Yeah.
when you're like 10, 11 years old. And you see these guys come in straight, and then go out there and just, something you've never seen before. And they're all, it was something I always wanted to do. So when I got back into it, and the reason why I got back into it, I wanted my daughter to experience what I experienced as a skater. So when
Okay.
she was born, that's when I kind of, and by when she could walk, she was skating. So that's the reason why I got back into it. And, I'm blessed that I was able, that not only have her as a daughter, but able to get back something that I had such a passion for, as a kid too. So,
Nice.
um, but
All
yeah,
right.
man.
real quick, do me a favor. I want you to move in the frame a little bit more because you keep moving out. You know what I'll do is I'll get a logo from you, and I'll get a logo and put it on as a watermark on this video too.
Yeah, you're good.
That's
You good
perfect. That's
there?
perfect.
Yeah.
Right. Perfect. All right. Cool. So, all right, man. So, yeah. So, like, because, dude, let me look. I watched your stuff, man, and we had when we came down for the USA Shuffle event a few months
Yeah, yeah,
back.
yeah. Yeah.
Scooters that night, and it was crazy. You know that night I skated at Scooters. That was the first roll I had since fracturing my ankle. And I get there, and it's a small spot, right? Like that's like at the floor I grew up in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a small rink.
Yeah.
It's a small
But
rink.
that I think makes skaters, man. I
Oh
really,
yeah.
really, you
Yeah,
know.
we have to work a little bit harder, man.
And but like like when I saw you for like so I came down to Scooters and I'm watching you, and I mean you you're doing things that like so okay, I got one guy I know, his name's Pete Trafka around here, and he's a shuffle guy, but like the people that I really kind of like admire the most in the skate world, this is such a weird example to use, but I always say this. I'm like, if you put Pete Trafka in like a ninja suit, right?
Yeah,
Where you
yeah, yeah.
see him at all, but you saw him skate, you would know exactly who that is because nobody does what this dude
Yeah,
does.
yeah, yeah.
Right? And I respect that so much. You, I think, are the quintessential example of that, man. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I appreciate
do
that.
your, you do your thing, right? It's unmistakable. Like, oh, there you go. Yep, there he is. That's him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, do you make that like a like the way I kind of described is like people ask me like, well, what's your style? And like I'll be sarcastic and I'll be like, willfully different. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
so like, is that like a thing for you, or do you want to, or did you want to kind of create your own thing and your own style for yourself?
Oh yeah, yeah, man. You know, and I think that's the funnest part about skating, because no matter if you're JB skating, you're jam skating, shuffle skate, it doesn't matter what it is, man. When you take and you're getting and your song comes on and you start vibing and you get into it, and then all of a sudden you're just kind of exploring new things about what your body can do and what your skates can do. And when you start to do stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that I do that just comes naturally from me just messing
Right.
around all the time that
Right.
I've never been able to teach nobody else how to do.
Yes.
So, and you got to also remember that rink, that I will tell you, that small rink has groomed my style. And the reason why I say that, I stopped skating around about 16, and I had my daughter in '07. So, that was probably, about 6, 7 years. That I stopped. Other than that, I've been hard at it, man, since I was, 5 years old. And it's been at that ring. So, 30 some odd years at the same ring, and just trying to progress and do different things and click the wall one time, like, man, I could probably jump that and hit that, you know what I mean? Or, there's a couple of things I do that, the owner, Scott really I don't do them because I think Scott would get mad at me, but, I can go up on, I can go and jump up on the wall and come off and do like a 360 and land. But it's, I'm up on the wall, so I never do it anymore, but every now and again, if I get a little froggy, I'll do it, and that's the thing. I think it's making that bar just a little higher, man, because if we keep raising that bar, the
Yeah.
sport's just going to get better and better and better. And the sport as a whole, not just shuffle skating, because I love JB skating, man. I love when the slow songs come on. I do all the slow stuff too. Now it looks wild because I'm out there in low cut bonks or 951 doing
Yeah,
it,
man,
but
I've seen you dipping, man. You know you're drunk.
yeah, man. I never knew what that was, man, until, so it's like, that really, I never seen that until like, probably like 2, 3 years ago. I guess, I seen it on, I don't know if I seen it on TikTok or somewhere. I started trying it and then like people around there started doing it. And then now it's like a big thing. All of them do it. So it's
Yeah,
pretty cool, man. It's cool to see that, just like, I think dipping is more of a southern, a deep south thing. But cause if you go further south, like, you go to Atlanta and Cascades, like, they dip. They know, when you see it, you tell it's a difference from what we doing and what they do. So,
right. So
and I think that's cool.
it's funny, man. It feels like the deeper south, like that I've skated. I don't know how it happens, but the faster they go, but at the same time, the slower they go, depending upon where you're at. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Depending
So,
on the
like,
zip code.
what was that?
Depending on the zip code.
Yeah,
Cause you could literally be in Orlando and then go straight over to Georgia and it'd be two whole different cultures of skating. Like really, like the vibes are different, everything, man. So, that's what I love about skating. I think there's always something for everybody, man. There's always, like, somebody can, like, if you don't want to be doing, do it shuffle going fast, you can JB skate. If you want JB skate, you can sit in the middle and do the inner stuff. And so there's so much out there, and I think that's what appeals to everybody. And I think there was a stigma around skating for a long time. Like, I don't know what it is, and I think finally everybody said, you know what, man, we're gonna do it. If you want to hate, hate. I don't really care because I'm
yeah,
having fun. I'm staying in shape, and and if there's if I can, man, just change one person's life, man, I think to me that's more to any of this. And I think to be able to have that reach, and touch so many, and touch so many people, just through skating alone and then just hearing people's stories and then just, just give them the time of day. I think, and I think a lot of people, when they get big or they get sponsored and all this stuff, they get real big headed or whatever, and then they start treating their fans and then, it's not about none of that, man. It's all positivity, man. Building for the next event. Let's make it bigger. The next event, let's make it bigger. And that's why you'll never hear me, man, talk any trash to anybody. I'll never talk crap about nobody, no teams. Now, if somebody calls us out or something and says something, I do respond. And I always say, the competition's this date, blah, 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 because I feel you let your skate and do the talking. All the
yeah,
rest is it's just noise, man. So, and I think, as long as a collective, if everybody's supporting each other, man, if skaters just keep supporting skaters, regardless, man, regardless, of what's going on, if you want to be this type of skater, want to be that type of skater, I still think, all styles are worth mentioning in the name of roller skating. So I think that's
it,
awesome. In my opinion, that's the coolest part for me.
I 100% agree, and I do, and I also agree too about, like, because there was, I mean, it's that stigma that you talked about. I mean, it's definitely not as prevalent as it was. It's funny. I was talking to
No.
somebody today, and I see, like, a lot of, like, girls online, like, skating, like they've got like these grind plates on the bottom of quads. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like on JB boots, right? But like in skate parks, I'm like, do you know
Hmm.
what would happen to me when I was 13 or 14 if I showed up at my skate park with quads on? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah,
they're so much more open to this thing. I think social media helps so much. It also evolves it like a lot faster. And the other thing
yeah,
that I hope that this social media thing kind of, because the other thing about skating is it's always very cyclical, right? It comes in and it goes back out. It comes in, like, these 10, 15 year spans. And
hmm,
right now we're on this real high, right, of skating. We have been for
yeah,
a while. I kind of got a feeling, though, that the way it is as far as social media goes, I think it's going to help. I hope it does, at least extend those cycles of when it's when it's big or when it's hot. You know what I'm saying? Um, one of the other things that you just mentioned too is about like just different areas and different regions, and skating styles are like accents depending upon the part of the country you're in. You know what I mean? Like there's some
Yeah,
things
yeah,
identifiable. Like like you can pick someone that's from Boston or whatever based on the way they talk and sometimes in the way they skate in a lot of ways. And it's funny because so back in like '91, okay, I got picked up by I skated in Southern Maine and in Massachusetts. But there was this rink way up Maine in Livermore Falls, and they had a roller hockey team, but like legitimate roller hockey, right? Like the curve stick,
yeah,
the
yeah.
ball,
Mhm.
okay?
Oh yeah.
Um, Maine Bulldogs, and they uh, knew of the guy that owned that rink up Maine. He knew the owner of the rink that I went to, and that the owner of the rink I went to threw my name out there. He's like, "Look, this kid, he played ice hockey, but I'm telling you, you should come take a look at him." Right? I was tiny compared to everyone else. They were way older. Okay, but they came down and they scooped me up, and I started traveling a little, like down the East Coast a little bit with Maine Bulldogs playing roller hockey. Now, the only reason I mention this is because I went to
Good.
the first place we went to was Delaware. Okay, and I remember, so it's like I think it's like '91, and I saw these three dudes. They had like all matching blue T-shirts, right? They had these big baggy jeans on, right. And when it was like they were waiting for the song because like Back to the Hotel comes on, right? And these guys do this like full floor routine, okay? Um, that I like I said, I never was exposed to stuff like that. We just did what we did kind of individually, but when I saw that, I was like, oh wow, like that is amazing. Like I want to do that. I want to have that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it was tough as a young kid. We kind of never were able to establish that kind of culture in New England. And it's still not like that. It's got its own thing and it's amazing still. But when you had mentioned about seeing people like in like matching like outfits and all that it felt to me like this. Looking back now, it was definitely a southern kind of thing. The, when did you ever kind of have that with a group of guys, or like just at your rink, like before, like not even from a competitive standpoint, but just kind of how you did your thing?
So, so yeah, so me and Quan, we started skating together, man. And I can't really, I don't really remember when he started skating, but I remember he caught on real fast. So I kind of, when I started, and he was always trying to learn my stuff. So that what kind of sparked the whole, man, I think we could start a team. So, within a short amount of time, we skated together probably a couple of years before we even thought about, doing anything else. And we were getting good. And then Ben started skating a lot because he had his daughter. So then when Ben got in the group, that's when, it all kind of and that was probably right around about 2000, I don't know, probably about 2009, 2010, but we really, we were just skating together, making moves and then over those, man, oh shoot, we've been doing we've been doing some of the same moves, our core moves since
Yeah,
then. But we've just perfected them, changed them a little bit. Because, and that's the thing, man, like if somebody wants to learn even learn any of our moves, like if I'm at a rink and somebody's like, man, teach me that, like I'm all for it. So like we have a lot of people, that come when they come to the rink, or even skaters that come to the rink that, just want to learn the moves. And there's a couple of moves that are a little bit intricate and they're a little long, but if you can do the first move and the second move, which is our one and number two, then you can pretty much do our whole plethora of tricks. But if you have a hard time, and sometimes it takes people a year to get that
yeah,
first move down. But when they get it, it kind of clicks. And then so all right, now try this one. And then once they get that next one, that's when I kind of know that they can skate with us and be part of the team. So, and you know, and then later on, Jelly Bean, I worked at Jelly Beans. I don't know if you ever skated at Jelly Beans here in Wilmington.
No.
So yeah, there was two rinks. So when Mr. Carter passed away, cause, Mr. Carter passed away before I got my license, but when Mr. Carter passed away, his son took over. He changed a bunch of things. He stopped doing all the competitions and all that stuff. So really all those like younger skaters around my generation, around about, 4 to 5 years of my age, and then some of the older kids that worked at Jelly Bean skated at Sunset too. And back then it was called, Skater's Choice. And then
Okay.
they got bought by somebody else and they changed it to Jelly Beans. But yeah, man, I'd say about 30 or 40 of us just finally said, you know what, we're just going to go skate. And it was a bigger rink. And when I went from that smaller rink as a teenager and being on that little rink to, it was really my first time I skated on a big floor. I fell in
Yeah.
love, man. And dude, when that rink closed, we're still blessed to have a rink. Don't get me wrong. And I love Scott to death, man. He's like a brother to me. And I do anything for that guy. 'Cause he looks out for us, man. He's a good dude, man. He's got a good heart and he's a skater. So he runs his rink like a skater. So,
Right.
and that's what I love about it. Not to say that, if you're not a skater, you can't run a ring. I'm just saying that it's good that, you kind of, you see eye to eye a little more because,
Yeah.
he knows
Exactly.
what we like, when we like it. And he does good at playing music for everybody. Like, you know what I mean? He gives us a little bracket at the beginning and in the middle and at the end, and he gives everybody else little brackets. Um, but yeah, and then, I worked at that rink for a long time, man. And that's where I started speed skating at. Yeah, in 2012, we went to nationals. First time I ever flew on a plane. Went to Lincoln, Nebraska. USAR's national speed skating on inlines. And
Okay.
I got third in the nation for my age group. So
Okay.
that's like my holy grail. Like for me, like to win everything I've ever won in my whole life. That was like the biggest thing I've ever won. So,
Oh wow.
but yeah,
Cool.
that's where I started speed skating at, man. And I speed skated for 10 years, man. And, I mean, we were going everywhere, buddy. I mean, you name it. If it was a meet and it was within driving, we were going, we were competing because I was hooked. And man, I think speed skating, I know ice speed skating is in the Olympics, but inline speed skating, in my opinion, it's the exact same thing. If you take Joey Mantilla, he was one of the fastest inline speed skaters in the world, probably still is, and he's got the same form that he took from that sport, and now he's in the Olympics, and that dude's killing it. So that just to say those two sports, I mean, I would, dude, if one's gonna make it to the Olympics, I think it'll be speed skating on inlines, or either outdoor, like on the road, or indoor in a skating rink. I think that'll be probably the skating that makes it to the Olympics first, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, because I think it's not, it's more of a competition because it's races. You know what I mean? So it's not,
Yeah.
other than referees, there's no
Yeah.
judging and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, man, I miss speed skating. It's a hard sport. Cause I mean, I hurt my hip one time. I like right before practice, I didn't even have my skates tied. And I was like putting my helmet on, man. I don't know what I did. And I just like went straight up in the air and come straight down on my hip. And that's
Oh,
pretty much when it didn't really, it just gave me a contusion. And I don't got no pain. It don't hurt no more to this day. But I was out for about 2 weeks. And just being out those 2 weeks, those guys that I was competing against a month before that were already that much ahead of me. That's how that sport is. If you miss a little bit of time, you lose so much momentum. It's a hard sport. So like, hands off to the guys that are still in it, that are our age, still speed skating, because it's tough, man. You gotta be in the gym. You gotta be skating outdoor. You gotta be skating indoor. Um, you gotta be doing 5 lap races all the time. Passes, relays. It's a hard sport, but it's fun. And I think and it's just like biking, I think. It's, probably about 90 to 95% training,
Yeah.
5% competing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, I'd like to go back to that. I think right now as a whole and what we're trying to do for the sport of skating, we're going to focus on shuffle skating.
Yeah.
And
If it's about, yeah, if you're looking to, to kind of draw eyes, you know what I mean, and draw participation, I think
yeah, yeah,
definitely the shuffle thing is where people look and say, "Ooh, I want to do that. Like, I'd like to do that," and it's definitely attractive to people. So when would like you say that like southeast like the southeast crew like that actually formed?
2012.
2012. So that you guys been together for a while, man.
Yeah, so it's
Who?
been me, Quan, and Ben since 2012.
So
Aiden,
you. So
he's well, he's a little younger than us. He's about 20 years younger than me. I think he's 21 now. And he hadn't been skating, man. I want to say maybe max 5 years. So,
wow.
been skating with the team. I want to say about maybe 2 years, and he can probably tell you better, but it's been a little over 2 years probably. So, what he's picked up in the amount of time that he's had, because, I mean, he's just naturally talented, man. So, like, he sees it, and I show him how to do it, and he, early on in the early stages, he was getting caught up on certain things, but like I said, man, just keep your head down, keep doing it, 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 and then one time you do it, it's just gonna click. And when it
Right.
clicks for you, that's it. You got it.
Yep.
And then you just gotta keep that momentum and just keep wanting to learn, man. And he's just been a sponge. I've worked with him a lot. Ben's, him and Ben are pretty tight. It's pretty much, me and Quan, we like blood brothers, and them two like blood brothers, but we all brothers. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
me and
Yeah.
Quan are together more, and then Aiden and Ben are together more. Um,
Yes. Because
so
where do you all live in correspondence to each other? Like how close?
so we're all in Wilmington.
Okay. All
Ben,
in Wilmington. Okay. All right.
yeah, yeah. So
All right.
but
So
yeah, so we skate on Thursday nights, man. We try to skate together every Thursday. Sometimes work gets in the way and stuff like that, man. But we try to at least, skate with you, especially now that November's getting closer.
yeah.
We'll start buckling down even more. And man, I want to say we got about 7 to 10 new tricks that nobody's seen yet that are kind of, I mean, they're a little bit more intricate, a little bit more, complicated to do, but I know we can do them. And some of these tricks, it's just kind of out of the box, man. And we haven't put any of the new stuff hasn't hit social media yet. And it literally, when that, when we get there, when we do our routine, that will be out to the public, all those new moves at the competition. So it's going to be pretty cool, man. Cause we've been working, some of them we've been working on since the last competition. So we're like, nope, don't post this one. Put that one
Yeah.
away. We
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
another one. Put that one
Yeah.
away. We do another. So we're real cautious too, because people are always recording and stuff too. So, cause we just want, man, we just try like that excitement to me, man, and that, original stuff. Cause I see it and I enjoy it and I love it. But I see our tricks and, it's funny, man. Sometimes I'll make a TikTok post. And it don't bother me, man, cause everybody, if you liked it, viewed it, shared it, whatever, I appreciate it. No matter what, it don't matter if you just share it and you ain't like, that's cool with me. But it's funny, man. I'll post something and I have like 27 shares and there'll be like 2 likes. I'm like, they ain't no none of them 27 shares like it one time, but they sharing it with their buddies, and then they're at the rink the next night. They're trying to do it, and it's a lot of the guys. Like, I see them out, man. I seen some guys in Texas doing some of our stuff, Tennessee. And I try to follow. If you're a skater, I don't care. I try to follow you. And sometimes, man, like if I follow somebody and I like the message somebody's bringing, man, and I'll sit on your pet box, comment, like, share, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
trying to support a positive message when it comes to like content creators for skating and all that good stuff. So.
Yeah, it's funny, man, because like that's how I approach it too. Like you know, and the people that I choose to really surround myself with in this world, because like you know, there's this weird kind of people. I think depending upon I don't know personality or something, there's like this. There's enough to go around for everybody. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I don't like this thing, whether it's skate content, whether it's actual skating, whether it's just skate related content. Like the way I don't look at it like, oh, if you're getting some shine, that means I'm not. I look at it like if we all get shine, we're all getting more shine.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what
Yeah.
I mean? Like the whole world, this whole thing that we're doing, like gets more shine. So like my thing is that you know and I try to I want to, especially if I'm going to vouch for somebody, right? Like the principles that
Yeah.
they speak
Yeah.
on, stuff like that. Like I want to,
Hmm.
I do want to have some insight into them, but you know, for the most part, man, my thing is like, look, I'm not out here competing with anybody in this content creation world. That's
Yeah.
this thing is about how much bigger can we make this so everybody gets a piece, everybody gets to participate in this joy. You know what I mean? Like, and there's nothing, no one's losing by someone else gaining in this,
Yeah.
especially in
Yeah.
the social media world. We got to get over that mentality.
Yeah.
So let
Yeah,
me ask you
man.
real quick. Let me ask you, how much of your time when you're skating together, like with these guys, like how much of your time, let's say, or just in general, is like, okay, we're just out here doing our thing for fun, versus how much is like training and trying to get a routine down and all that kind of stuff.
Man, I tell the guys, if we're on the floor and we're skating as a group, every step should be 110% because
Okay,
it's muscle memory. So
right on.
if you go out there and you half step it, you're gonna get used to half stepping stuff.
You get
And
trained
then
your
you're,
that, yeah.
yeah, you lose your crispiness, you lose your beat, next thing you know, two of you look like you're doing different tricks because you're not all the way giving it what the two in the front are giving. And the back, see the thing is, a lot of, we record everything, man. I have a few awesome videographers, but my main videographer, Kale, dude, he's a beast, man. And, he's been, he been literally last Thursday night, man. He probably filmed 2 hours in a 3 hour session. So, um, my wife's coming home. She about to go back there, but I lost my train of thought.
About your videographers.
Oh yeah. So um having me being able to, they know I'm going to look at that content. They know I'm looking at that video. So the next time we skate, I'll be like, hey man, like why why'd you have your hand on Aiden's back for like a lap and a half, or just something, just stuff that they normally wouldn't think about unless I said something about it. So
So, like, okay, so let's put this out there. So the the next competition is when, where, what's it called? Let everybody know.
my little man, bro,
It's all
two
good,
years,
man. It's all
two,
good.
2 years old, bro. He's a wild one. I can't.
It's all good.
We finally got him his first real pair of skates, so he about to be out there raising hell.
Nice.
So repeat that question again, man. My bad.
No, it's all good. So I was gonna say I want to make sure everybody knows. Let everyone know the so the
Next
next.
comp.
What's the name of the competition? Where's it taking place? When is it taking place?
So
Give everybody the info.
the the next competition is gonna be Shuffle Down in Old Town, which is in Orlando, Florida.
Yep.
It's the day before Thanksgiving. We are the returning champs, so to speak. We won it 2 years in a row. Me and Quan, so that's November. What was that, like 27th? It's the day before Thanksgiving. I think it's the 27th of November. Shell Bell, Michelle Garman, host and judge that. Prince Hall. And then I think either Mayhem and Jams. I think both of them might judge too. I'm not sure how they do that, but those, some big names going to be there that, have been there the last 2 years too. And man, Jams and Mayhem the last 2 years during the during like the semifinals and like the final, like the mixes there, dude, when they dropped them certain, man, we went off. It was crazy, man. And that's what
So
I love about it. So is being
you
able to,
your set. You don't
what'd
pick
you
your
say
own
now?
music. You don't pick your own music.
So no, so the last two, so I think we can. I think you can. I just chose not to.
Oh, no
I
kidding.
told, yeah, so I told them, I said, man, let's just go into it blindly, man, because because a lot of it, I'm pretty sure the final last year, it was only two of us left on the floor, if I'm not mistaken. And he played two different songs, I do believe, like mixed it out and it come into one or the other. So I'm pretty sure you can request your own music, but I wanted to hit it blindly, man. I didn't want to go into it like, having to me, I think that, to me, I feel like we could do a little better because you're not already playing it in your mind. Something comes off, and with Jams and Mayhem, you ain't got to worry about it. That's what I was trying to, because everybody had a different song they wanted to play. And I was like, man, let's just go into it blindly. And I think both years it's worked out perfectly. So let's
Wow.
not, if it's working, let's not change it. Let Jams and Mayhem do their thing, and let's do it, baby.
Dude, so
So
okay. So let me say this because like that amazes me, first of all, right? Especially
yeah,
because how much time you put in, right, to get this
yeah,
routine together, all this stuff. Okay, respect because check this out. Like one is that it takes a lot of guts because I automatically assume, and I've never competed like that before, right? But even in my own head, I'm like, oh yeah, I know that I would have a song that I would pick and whatever, and I know that most people are probably going to do that. So just the guts that it takes to do it, but also there is like an honesty about it, right?
oh yeah, yeah,
Like a truth about it as far as being a skater, a truth that people that love to skate will experience just on the floor, right?
yeah,
I think anyone that really skates understands, knows what it's like to be in a moment, right? Like
yeah, yeah,
unplanned, right? So like you're bringing this, okay, yeah, pre-planned, like choreographed thing to the floor, but at the same time you're also bringing like this honest, true, like aspect of what it's like just to be a skater in the moment.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's amazing, dude. Like that's
I,
crazy. You know what I
I
mean?
think
So
I think
much
it makes
respect.
makes the whole experience more authentic, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah, and with our how we so I could change. We don't really have a routine. We work
Okay.
off the beat. So all we really need is a clap. All we need is that. And that's what we grew up on since I was 5 years old. That right there. So you find that in any beat, doesn't matter what it is, and you stay on that with your steps. And then that's everything. It becomes muscle memory. Cha, cha. And then once you get to that point, we could do one straightaway, that's one trick. All right. And then when we come around another straightaway, I call another trick. And we go on the last step. I say one more, and then we go right into it. And then we know when to step. And then I could change it I could call four different tricks in the corner that I want, or four different other tricks on the straightaway on the other side. But I call it about two steps before we get to that straightaway. So all the guys know what we're going to do. Everybody, we've learned the moves. We know the names. So it's become just and that's why we just repeat, and keep doing it. And then, as you do them and as you conquer these moves as a group, because you're all meshing together and trying to look the same and make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, you say, all right, we got that one. Let's come up with something different. Let's do something different. So it's
So
pretty cool to be able to change. I could change it. We could change it. It could be 10 different moves one time, and I could change it and we do it a whole other, it'll be another seven different moves from, another way,
but
and
you'll change in the middle of a routine, like of
Yeah, we're calling it. We don't go out there with no plan. There's no plan. There's no this. It's moves. We know the moves. We've learned the moves, and the moves have names. And we got moves for the corners. We got moves for the straightaways. So, and that's what it is. So it doesn't matter what happens. So like there's certain moves that are done as a group going a certain speed. So if we get kind of slow, I'll do a more intricate move in the corner so we can get out of
right.
there and speed up a little bit. Or if it's a move that all of us can kind of go a little bit faster, I'll call that move. So you're kind of filling each other. And then that, man, we've gotten to where, we change formation while we're skating now. And we got little words we say to where if we get out of the normal formation, we can just, cause, sometimes when you're doing spins and you're doing all that stuff, sometimes the group just shifts over. So it's kind of like a moving organism, man. So if it is shifting and you're getting ahead of us a little bit, all right, we're going to get behind you. We're going to call it, and then we're going to try to get back to where we were, and then just try to make it look as fluid and as effortless as possible. You know what I mean? So, and I think, what we've created, I mean, it's not only, it's duplicable, it can be duplicated, but it's just its own. Like I haven't seen anybody do and a lot of it is based off of the style, I've had since I was, 10, 11, 12 years old, and we've just kind of upped the bar of it. So
Yeah.
we've took what I've been doing and what I learned from all those great skaters growing up watching as a kid, wanting to be 15, but I was 7, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So just,
of course.
and
Yeah.
dude, but I tell you, probably my biggest mentor in skating, was an old guy named Curtis, man. He was an old dude, used to wear the high top, like old, JB skates, had a big old Playboy bunny on the side with the little white hard wheels. And I remember, 5 years old. When he would be at the rink, I followed that man around, and that's where I learned how to JB skate is from him. And it's a lot of the stuff that I do when we're going slow, we drag our toe and we step and we clap and stuff. He taught me that when I was like 5, so he has since passed on, probably about a few years ago. And man, how much stuff I learned from him, just him seeing me, wanting to learn, come on, I'll teach you. Sometimes, man, he'd take a whole session and just skate with me. I'm 6, 7, 8, 10 years old. It didn't matter. It didn't matter when it was. If he'd come in and I wanted to skate with him and learn, he would spend the whole session with me. So I take that a lot into how I treat, the
Yeah.
people that look up to me now. And, I don't like saying stay humble and because I don't think you should stay humble. I think you should always be confident, man, be loud and do what you want to do and be you, but also have that soft side to you to where you ain't walking around with your head this big all the time. And because in a
Right.
split moment, man, your whole life can change. You know what I mean? So we're blessed enough to keep skating and keep on, man, making the sport better than it's ever been. I think we're past that old heyday, man. Like, man, you remember back in the day? Cause I used to be like that, man. I miss not now, man. Skating
Oh yeah.
is up there.
Right.
It's climaxing. And to be a part of it and be one of the, with you and Michelle Garman and Jay Garman and DJ Mayhem and Jams and, like Brian Brantley and Melissa from the Carolina Shuffle team and all them, it's, we're so like, we're all got the same mindset. It feels like we're all like just trying to make this thing as big as possible. So
Yeah.
like, I think, with the rate that it's going now, man, I think it's here to stay for a freaking long time. And there's some huge things, happening for us. And, if we get that three-peat in November, that'll be 3 years running, that we won that shovel skate competition.
Yeah.
So that will kind of that will get rid of the ones that, they call it a fluke. That's what they say. You won 2 years in a row. All right, well, come this November. We're going to be there. So
So
it's fun
George,
though, man. I love it. I love it.
let me ask you. Like, I want to jump back just to one thing because I'm still like wrapping my head around the fact that you guys are out like mid competition calling stuff on the fly. Look, how do like how many other teams do you think are doing that, or do you think that like basically? And look, it's not like you're hating on anybody, but I mean, like,
Nah,
would you say the majority of like competitive team skating or like so? Let's say the other teams that you're going to compete against. How many of them are going in there with a completely planned out routine versus making like doing it on kind of on the fly?
man. I'll be honest with you. I couldn't tell you.
Okay, all right, that's
But
fair.
the thing is, I don't think I think a lot of them they have it set up, man. And a lot, a lot of them, they have a set routine that they do, and they do that, and then they get that going. And that's usually how, most, because they want to know what they're doing and all that stuff. But
Well,
we've
that
kind of
makes
taken that
perfect sense.
element.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've kind of taken that anxious element out of it. Well, man, what if I forget this? So if we miss, if one of us messes up on one step, that next step, you should be on it. So, and that type of setup helps. So,
yeah,
cause if you got a routine set up, you say, all right, you got to remember, all right, we got to do this move, this. All right, on the next one, all right, I got to remember to do that move. All right, so by the time you get to the fifth straightaway, you're pretty deep in trying to remember some stuff, man, and it takes the
right.
fun
Get back on
of it.
track and
Like
yeah,
and that was kind of the whole thing with all of us. We all as a collective were like, man, let's just we got to keep going what's been working with us. Because when we were in 2012 to 2016, we probably had 6 moves, and we did those same we did those same 6 moves forever as a group.
yeah.
So now, man, I couldn't tell you. I mean, like it's a long list of the tricks we got now, and we just keep adding on to them. And I think the way we skate, man, and how we've implemented, everything as a group, as a whole, it works.
Well,
You know,
what's is I'm sitting here thinking as you're telling me this, right? Because I was a DJ for years. Okay,
mm,
first place I ever DJed was a rink at when I worked at the rink I grew up in. I'll never be a DJ at a rink. People ask me all the time. I'll never do it because I'll only want to be skating. I'll just be up
yeah,
there like
yeah,
because I'm not skating. So, but it's funny because I'm thinking about that because the way that it sounds like you kind of like approach the competition is almost like it's the way that a DJ's mindset should be. It's not to go in there with some playlist. You like
yeah,
you have to be able to adapt on the fly, right? The crowd needs to tell like they're going to tell you what's working, what's not, right? But things are
yeah,
going to
yeah,
happen, and you got to be able to adjust to keep this crowd engaged. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So it's kind
yeah, exactly.
of just it's amazing how just from just DJing and just music in general, how this kind of all is intertwined. Can I ask you? I want to ask, what do you? So you're going for this three-peat. What do you think is like? What do you think is like? If you could name one major factor, other than maybe changing up on the fly, but like what's another major factor that you could say that is kind of like has at least set you apart for the last 2 years. Let's say, like the last 2 wins and going into this one. What do you think is like the real big difference between being going for a three-peat versus maybe the competition that you've had?
Yeah, man, I think so, like I always tell the guys, man, um keep it simple, keep it basic, and always try to have fun with it. But the beat and the music, controls everything. It controls your step. It controls your flow. So if it's a slow song, it's hard to do some of the stuff we do because our tricks are designed for shuffle skate music.
Yeah.
But and and to all look like we're trying to do the same move. So if we're, if we're all, when we do freestyle and we do the split at the end, we all try to do the same thing, our hand motions and everything. That way, when on video, and if you're at, competition wise, you know, and that's what separates us from everybody else is we all try to emulate each other when it comes to the look as a whole. Like if I'm stretched out with, my hand up, or, you got to try to get to that point too when we're doing that move every time. And I think just the way we've, started meshing together, recently because we're skating more with each other now. So it's becoming a little less work, and more fun now than it was in the earlier years when we're, frustrated because we all can't do this one move, or we don't do those moves because one person in the group couldn't do it. So now there's not, at the four of us, there isn't really any moves that we do as a whole group that everybody can't do.
Okay.
So,
All
but it ain't always been like that. You know what I
right.
mean? So there's been certain moves that, that I could do and Ben could do that Quan and Aiden can do. And there's been moves that me and Aiden can do that them two can't do, and vice versa. So it's now that this, that we've been skating, with each other for a while. And we, and we're all pretty close knit, man. And I think that's another thing, man, that camaraderie and, brotherhood and, lifting each other up, man. I think that's the biggest thing that's wrong with this world nowadays, man. It's like, two dudes can't be a certain way, or, you know what I mean? So I think that's bull crap, man. I think if your brother's down, man, you should be reaching out to him. Or you're down, you should be reaching out to me. Bro, let's go grab some food, this and that, you know what I mean? And having that, and, and all of us supporting each other, and then, traveling and meeting all the people. And I think it's pretty cool, man. You walk in the rink, you've never been there before, and, five people come up, oh, Southeast Skate Crew or Shovel Skate Joe, oh, and that's what I love about it. I just love being able to share this passion with everybody. Um, and the love, man, and the support, we just hit 1 million views on one of our,
Saw that, man. That's
bro,
amazing.
I was like,
Congratulations.
so TikTok is what took off for me anyways, and us as a group. So mainly I was on TikTok forever, just doing TikTok stuff. And then as we started getting more into skating and meeting people, it seemed like everybody, was doing both, and Facebook. So then I started doing more Facebook stuff. Now Facebook is kind of taking off. So it's cool to see that, man. I think, and we try to share those moments with everybody. Cause I mean, without people watching it, without people sharing it, liking it, people ask me all the time, man, you make money from that? I say, man, I've never even set up monetization on it. I'm not in this to make money. I don't make these shirts for money. You know what I mean? Like I make them cause we wear them. People say, hey man, I want one of those. And I said, well, I'll make you one. No. So, if I'm making money, if I make the money back for what I got in them, I'm happy. Because
Yeah.
I do it because I love to, man. And I think it's cool, man. I love being able to make different stuff and, just make original type of shirts and stuff. And it's also, anytime you can get the whole, group dubbed out in some Southeast group, skate gear, man. But yeah, man, dude, I'm so proud of them guys, man. They worked their tails off,
I was, you guys put
some nights I feel like a drill
in the time.
sergeant, but what'd you say?
No, I was saying you guys put in the time. I mean, you
Oh
guys
yeah.
put in the time, man.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been working hard, man. And it feels like, I mean, it feels like, yesterday, man, but it's been a while. We've all four of us been together, a good 3 years now, almost, probably going on 3.5. I'm horrible with time, man. My ADHD doesn't let me like, I don't
Same
like,
way.
you ask the guys, bro, like, oh, we'll be there at 7. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll be there at 8:30. I'm rolling in, like, but when
Yeah.
you own your own businesses and you got kids and stuff, man, that's why I'm like, man, I go by every day is the day that I'm gonna live. All the rest is just, it'll
Right.
happen when it happens. You know what I mean? So I try to live for the day, man. I lost my little sister, man, in December, 2019.
Okay.
So ever since then, man, I tell you, bro, that messed me up for a while. But afterwards, man, and that's when really, I think that's when really, like, in my life, I just got serious about a lot of things.
Okay.
Not only skating, but just in general, it was, when you don't got a plan, man, you don't really got a goal, and you just been kind of just going about life, doing, just not really thinking about stuff and not appreciating certain things and taking stuff for granted. And then something like that happens. You're like,
Yeah.
man, I should have been doing, I should have been, you go back to that. I should have been a better brother. I should have been a better whatever. And she was a skater too, man. I just seen a picture of her, man. Look, yeah, I just seen a picture. This is her. Shit, that was her first yearly she won. There's Ben. You see Ben?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
little Ben. Yeah, I seen. It made me feel cool. But yeah, that changed, man. That changed my life, man, for the better. I mean, 'cause it's like it's like I wasn't living. I mean, I was living, but I wasn't like, appreciating the stuff I had. I was always trying to reach for more, man. I was always trying to grab what I felt like I needed. And this, when everything I have and I want and that I really need is right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You're missing those moments. You're missing moments.
yeah, man, just trying to, you know, and to be able to buy a new nice, a truck or a car, always wanting this and that. But sometimes, man, it ain't always about that, man. And I think, people get caught up on, this, you know, fake world they want to live in. That's
Yep.
not real, man, because when it's all said and done, you can't take none of that stuff with you. You can pass it on to your kids, but they're probably just gonna sell it. So, and that's the kind of stuff I think about. So I'm like, why even, do it? Like, I still have, I have motorcycles and dirt bikes, stuff, but I build those things because I love to ride, not
Yeah.
because I'm trying to make a bunch of money and stuff. So, and we live in a modest house, a nice house, in a nice part of Wilmington. So, you know, and my kids now, God first, then my kids, then my wife, and then it's skating. So my kids are everything to me, man. So, and that's what it's about is, and if I would have never had my daughter, I probably would have never got back into skating. So,
Mm.
it's been a blessing. And it's crazy because my daughter, she's 16 now and my son's 2. So, we weren't planning on having him, but because it's like we were going to have another kid. I was like, man, if I have another kid, and this is back, when my daughter was like 2, like '08, '09. I was like, well, if we're going to have another, we better have it now. If not, you need to get an IUD or whatever. So, so we never had kids because I was like, man, the stuff I done as a kid, as wild as I was, the good Lord
Right.
gonna give me
Right.
all girls. I'm gonna have all, and I was like, nope, not doing it.
Right.
So, it's funny that, he gave me a boy because I always wanted another kid. I wanted a little boys. I wanted a girl and a boy. So, but man, it's been fun, man. It's always good when they're healthy and everybody's healthy and prospering. And, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is we look past like the little stuff and always are focused on stuff that really ain't going to matter, and if something, when you really think about it, like, when you look at your job, if you just pass away today, they're going to replace you tomorrow. So that,
Yep.
that not all jobs, but 95% of them.
Most,
So,
yeah.
so that's my whole thing, man. So, cause that was always me, man. So since cause, uh, my parents broke up when I was younger. So I was on my own for a long time. when I was like a young adult. So I worked, man. I always, I worked hard so I could have nice stuff. So that was kind of like the routine I got into is just, if I work my butt off, man, I'm gonna have all this, man. That's all I did, man. I worked. I used to, metal frame and sheetrock during the week. And then I stocked beer on the weekends from the time I was 18 to like 25, 7 days a week. Just, you know what I mean? Now, and then when I met my wife, I started to slow down a little bit, but I still, but then when she got pregnant, I said, well, I don't want her going to daycare. So I got a third shift job and I worked third shift, watched my daughter until she started kindergarten. So that's the kind of thing, what we kind of do now. I started, I started a pressure washing company and I do that when I can do it. I paint houses and stuff every now and again. So I can be home with my son now. So, a lot of times when we're here, and I'm sitting here working, editing content and stuff like that. So it's like, it's never ending with that stuff, man. I can sit on the computer or on my phone for 4 hours and be like, Jesus Christ, how much more can I put on? It's like another job, man. But I love doing it. But it is like making content and putting a lot of content out there and interacting with the people who are supporting you. It's a full-time job. But the thing is, you got to do it if you want to get your name out there. And we do want the skate culture to get bigger. We got to do it. It is what it is.
Yeah. Man, that's great. So the one thing I was, it's interesting what you said, man. I mean, first off, I totally agree. I think that, especially as we go through life and, we get older and stuff like that, things happen that kind of rock our world and it kind of puts things in perspective for us. You know what I mean? Like, oh, wow, I could have been doing this or I could have been doing that or what was I missing, but I also think that there's a thing for us too as skaters because like there's a weird, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but like so many people that skate, especially when they do it for a long, long time, they always maintain a certain level of, and I don't want to call it immaturity, but youthfulness about them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something still there, right? Like in a good
Yeah.
way. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah.
And I think that as someone like that skates, like the fortunate part for us is no matter what's going on in our world, right? No matter how caught up we get, I know that there's at least going to be once a week where I can
Yeah.
go just be here in
Yep.
this moment, nothing else, and be 100% like okay. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Not only just not just okay, but like
You're in golf.
yeah,
You're in
keeping
golf. You're not thinking about
like
nothing else, man.
yeah, and I guess depending on what you do, people have different things that hopefully do that for them. I don't know how many people have that though that they can
Yeah.
absolutely rely on to go and do to
Yeah.
like to literally find joy at least once a week, twice a week, whatever it
Yeah.
is. I mean,
I always, I always say, dude, there isn't anything like roller skating that can take you away from the world, take you
mm,
away from your job, take you away from, without spending a bunch of money. You know what I'm
right?
saying? So
Yeah,
roller
yeah.
skating's the only other sport that's come close to that for me is surfing.
Okay.
But I can't go surf every day because you got the waves dictate that. When we get off here, if I wanted to go skate, I could go right out front and skate on my, on my drive, you know what I mean? So that's, and and that's why I skate, man. And, it's that euphoria that you feel, and you look down at your watch and like, you've been there for 3 hours and it feels like you've
Mm,
been there for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So in
yeah,
that to me is like, there's not many things out there that can do that in your life without, buying a Ferrari or, you know what I
right.
mean? Or spending some money that's gonna, take you to that euphoric level. And not it doesn't do that for everybody, but I do say that the people that do start skating and then they start to like get a little good, or they start to skate backwards, and stuff just starts to work for them. Just to see you see them when they're hooked. When you kind of can see it in their face when they're like, oh yeah, yeah, this is what it is. So,
Yeah. And
uh,
I think, I don't know if you relate to this or not, but like, the thing that I tell people is, and it kind of sounds corny and cliche, but like, and I think most of it comes from, always kind of having more of an individual style and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
But the reality is for me, dude, and I don't know what this says about me in regular life, but the reality is that I don't think I'm ever more of my authentic self than when I'm skating. I don't
yeah,
think I'm ever more exactly who I am and who I want to be than
yeah,
when I'm doing that.
yeah,
And so I don't know where I would get that if it wasn't this. You know what I mean? I don't know if you relate to that or if you even understand what I'm saying when I say that, but like I just it feels like the most honest version of myself. Does that make any
yeah.
sense?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, like when like skating is so much. I mean, it's so much of my identity, man. Like anywhere, it just went back in the '90s and if you were in this town, back when we were growing up, the skating ring was the happening spot. That's where everybody went. Friday, Saturday night. That's where everybody went. So it's given me, man, more than I'll ever probably give back to it.
Oh,
I mean, it kept me out of trouble. I mean, even though I still got into trouble, I know if it wasn't for skating, I probably would have been, you know what I mean, been in the neighborhood doing stupid stuff.
yep.
But instead, my mama made us clean our rooms before 6:30 on Friday night. And if it wasn't clean by 6:30, you wasn't going skating at 7. So,
Yeah.
so it's always been, it teaches so much too, man. Especially when you got, like kids like, little monkey, who, follows me, has learned so much. She follows me around pretty much the whole session, man. And from where she was just a year ago to where she is now is mind blowing to me, because by the time she's 12, 13 years old, I don't think there's not going to be many people that on skates, mind you, that are going to be able to touch her if she stays at the level she's progressing, because she just got to that point. And now she's finally starting to figure out the beat where she's slowing down and she's stepping on the beat. So it's cool to watch that, her going just kind of just doing whatever and turning and stuff, to now she's stepping to the beat and turning and doing her moves to the beat and stuff. I've been working with her, working with her jam skating more too. So now I'm hoping I can get her to where she can spin, do some spinning and stuff. I think
That's
that
all.
would be pretty cool. So,
That's all.
but, but man, and it's cool to have Aiden on the team too, because, he's 20 years younger than me, about 15 years younger than Ben. He's going to be the one of our group that's going to pass it on to the
Right.
guys that are probably not even born yet. You know what I mean? They're,
Yeah.
going to be in their 20s when he's 40 and he's still skating. Cause hell, I'll be 60. I know I'll be skating still, but hopefully, God willing, I'll still be skating when I'm 60, but I won't be doing I know I won't be doing what I'm doing now.
Right.
Ain't no
Right.
way.
Yo.
But but yeah, man, skates kept me in shape too. Like it's makes I want to be I want to have more endurance and I want to be better. So like my diet, I mean, if I could stop drinking Mountain Dews, I'd be good. But other than that, I'm like my diet's pretty good when it comes to the food I eat. I don't eat fast food no more. I try to eat bananas and vitamins and all that stuff, and that skating has done that for me. So it's
Right.
just so much stuff, man. It makes you want to change in your life for the better. It's like even if people just wanted to get some type of cardio where it's not actual work and you just want to go and do this. I mean, that's another thing, man. I always think is if it wasn't for skating, my body would have probably done been broke down. You know what I mean? Cause I played
Oh,
sports I played sports my whole life. Since little league baseball all the way up to high school football. So, um, And it's over, now, but I think now, man, no, I'm not saying cocky. I think like right now in my body and the way I feel, I'm in my prime right now. I feel at the top of my game than I ever have at this moment, in this particular moment right now. The way my body feels, um, I just, it doesn't feel like I had my hip situation when I was speed skating and took that off and didn't want to do it no more. I was kind of leaning more towards stop skating again. And then that's when I kind of said, man, I don't want to do that. So I want to, let's do something. I want to do something. And then that's kind of where Southeast Skate Crew came from. Because it it sucks to see a sport, and I think a lot of that, it was kind of crazy how it happened. We kind of made the team and all that stuff, and then Jelly Beans, just closed down. So it was like, oh man, what are we gonna do? So then we started skating back over there at Scooters, and then you know once he started having adult nights and stuff, and then he was DJing and stuff, I think that was it for us, man, because we didn't have that at Jelly Beans, because I was the night manager for the most part late in the later years of that skating rink. So I would play a playlist and I would go out and floor guard and skate. So it would
Yeah.
just be a playlist. I mean, it was good songs and stuff like that, but it's you like you said, it's just a playlist. It's just there's some slow music, a little fast music, some shuffle music. You know what I mean? Just so everybody can skate. So, going over and having a live DJ and, just the atmosphere, and he's put so much money in that rink, man, with lights, and you all seen it. It's small, but man, it's a nice rink, and it's
It's a cool spot, man, for sure.
it's pretty cool,
I
man.
yeah, no, it was a cool spot. I had a blast. I liked it.
Yeah.
And like I
Yeah.
said,
So
I
that
grew
was
up
a
there.
difference.
Oh no, no, go for it.
No, that was different. That was kind of a different atmosphere for us. Even though we've skated there before, we were mainly over at Jelly Beans because I worked at Jelly Beans, so I couldn't really get to a lot of the nights they had over there. Um, and then plus when you're skating on a big rink like that, man, and you're used to skating on a big rink, it's hard. It's hard. It was a hard transition because all our main moves were designed for a bigger floor.
Right.
So when we do those, like I say our top 8 moves, they're designed for a big floor. They were made on a big floor. So when we were at Scooters, if you ever notice, when we do any of those moves or any of those tricks, we're in the middle of the corner, coming out into the other side of the corner. But on a
Yep.
big rink, we're finishing in a straightaway, and that's the way it's supposed to be. We have moves. I have moves set up to where a certain move, if you place it right, where you're placing when you start it and how you start it, you finish off right in front of like the judges table. So there's
Hmm.
stuff, there's stuff we do like that too that we design that way. So when we're doing our splits and our hands in there, we're looking over, we're looking right at the judges. So those are some key moves that we do purposely for that reason, so they can see it close up of like our intricate moves, like the stuff that's
Yeah.
the 2 moves that kind of dictates if you're going to be able to do any of the other moves, you know. And something like I tell you, sometimes it takes people a year to learn just that first move, but once they get it, it's a different ball game. But Orlando's
Uh,
gonna be fun this year, man.
yeah, man.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
I um so other than the competition coming up in November, what do you think the next event will be that you'll be at?
We'll be down Kissimmee next weekend, Labor Day.
Oh, okay, nice,
Yeah, we'll
nice,
be
nice.
down there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The whole group will be down there. It's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be real fun. Um, we're, and I do want to say, I do want to say one thing while I'm on here, man. Stuff that happened like with Michelle, Shell
Yeah,
Bell. My
yes.
heart goes out to her, man, because she's been through so much, and Jay, they've been through so much, and for her to have that setback, especially getting so close to that situation. And she's such a hard worker and wants to do so much for the culture. I know she just, it's hurting her so in her heart right now that she can't do the stuff that she was about to do, right before that happened to her. And I sent Jay a message today, man, told him, man, just, y'all rest, man, get well.
Yeah.
Don't worry about nothing else, man. Your health, and your well-being is more than anything else you got going on in the world right now. And it's all going to be here. We're all going to be here when y'all get back. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
No.
know, I just hope everybody I just hope everybody keep praying for her, so she can heal up fast. I doubt she'll be at Labor Day next week. I know they're planning to go. I doubt they'll be, and which she don't need to be. She needs to rest. She needs to heal up, man. And she's another big reason, kind of why I started traveling skating. Cause the first time we really started traveling was me and Quan. I was like, man, somebody sent me, I think it was Ben, sent me a screenshot of the first Shuffle Down in O-Town. And I was like, and Ben couldn't go. I think Ben couldn't go. He had to work or something was going on. And we were just kind of getting into that. Well, man, we're going to start going places and we're going to see who's doing what and compete if we can. So when we went down there, Michelle was one of the first people that I met, part of, at that event. And with her and then Jay, man, within the first 5 minutes of talking to them and she was telling me about, her journey and everything else. I knew from then on out, like we were going to be good friends, man, for a long time. You
Yeah.
sometimes you just click with people, man. You just like, man, these are my people. It
Yeah.
kind of happened like that. She's kind of become, my big sis and seeing all the success she's had and then, seeing all the stuff that she's done for the sport and the stuff she's gonna do for the sport. And I wish there's a lot of things that are freaking in the works, man, that for us and a lot of different people. Um, that's gonna change shuffle skating. It's gonna change the direction of the sport, I do believe. Just because of exposure, and being able to, get out further. Like I want to go further out west, man. I want to go up north, I want to come up and see y'all. And I think, you know, meeting Michelle and Jay and all of them down there in Orlando, Mayhem and Jams and all them for that first time, and then seeing how their community was and how tight they all were, kind of made me want to start traveling. I was like, man, is there skaters like them everywhere else? Am I just been missing out on? Have we been missing out on all this whole freaking time?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so. And I think that's the funnest to me, even because I remember traveling when I was young. Because even back when when I was younger, the older kids would travel and stuff, and then every now and again, as the youngest one, I would get to go. So I do remember as a little one, like 10, 12, going to some events and stuff as a kid. And I remember it was always fun back then. So I think, man, when you have a good skate trip, and you have a good event and you skate your tail off and, Monday morning you barely walk and, cause you're sore from skating
Yeah.
2, 3 nights in a row. Uh, it kind of, man, it kind of makes all the other stuff worthwhile to me, anyways. But man, it's just to see the feedback, man, for me, uh, you know, people saying, "Oh man, I remember when I used to skate 20 years ago," all that stuff, man, and then all the love we get, it makes it worth it, man. But just how strong I think the community has become, as a whole. I see some other types, not shuffle skaters, but I do see some other. I'm not gonna say what type, but you probably know. But I see some other type of skates, like different styles, their community, like their culture, a little
Mhm.
bit of negativity, a little bit of back and forth, and all, so it's like I'm just glad that the shuffle skating community and like this type of skating, we don't there is not a lot of there is some of it, there's not a lot of it, and I think the way we all are, from we got the north, the east, and the south covered pretty much right now, so and the west with Carolina Shuffle in them now, so we kind of got them. So as long as we're all supporting each other that negativity, if it does work its way in, it will eventually weed itself out because none of us are supporting that. So
Yeah,
it's
I
going to
know.
come, and it comes with everything you do.
Yeah, man, I'm just not participating. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
if it's hating, I'm not participating. That's all there is to
Yep.
it. Like kind of how I look at it, and like and so and that's what I really enjoy. It's funny is that I mean I love being around amazing skaters. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but even more than that, I love being around people of like minds with me that
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
love skating. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And that and like and we all you always and I think you always end up finding each other the way that you found Jay
Yeah.
and Michelle and in the same way I did, man. I mean it's all very I mean from the moment that I met Michelle, you know, she you know, and we've had limited interactions, but like it right out of the gate, she was like, "I'm gonna share your stuff, and I'm gonna share this." You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
she has that same mindset where it's like, "Look, man, just make this good for everyone." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I'm right there with you too, man. Of course, you know, thoughts and prayers go out to Michelle. Michelle is actually scheduled to do the pod like right after the Kiss Me event, but obviously, you know, we're gonna hold off on that. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen, but
Yeah.
needs to
Oh,
take
dude,
care of
she's
her.
a, man, she's a warrior, bro. She'll be back
Yeah,
before you know it, man. She'll be back before we think she's supposed to be back, and she
that,
comes back, dude, and she's faster than she was when she left. So,
yeah,
man, I love them, man. They're such great people, man. And I think she kind of started from in my, for me, and she kind of started, um that kind of wave for all of us, man. When it comes to TikToks, and I think she was kind of like the pioneer, like in the and just kind of getting out there with that whole, for me anyway, because I didn't really like until like I met her and was doing and seeing her TikTok, because I remember the first time I met her and they were like, yeah, she has like 80,000 followers. I'm like, what? Is that possible? You know what I mean? So like that's when I
right.
started getting more like, and so to be able to have somebody like that, not only are you freaking great friends with, I consider them family to me, to be at the forefront of it, of what you love to do and to see how she is and she like implements everything there is about a good skater and a caring skater and like good for the culture. You can't say enough good things about her. So to be able to just fall behind that, man, and just keep it going. I think it's a blessing, man. Yeah, so I can't, I mean, just a year from now, man, when we sit down and do another one of these in a year, we'll be like, holy moly, brother, holy moly. If we would only knew.
Yeah, right,
So
right.
I can't wait, man. There's some big things coming. I know just, cause it's finally, the companies are finally starting to figure out like there's money in this. So they're finally starting to see there's possibilities that we're not taken advantage of. And if we don't strike while the iron's hot, there's going to be other people that start new companies and solidify that. And then the ones that do it now and the ones that go ahead and like certain companies are doing, and they're really starting to listen to the skaters and do certain things. Those are going to be the ones that kind of take over. And we all know which ones do it. And so, I think that's only good for the sport. When they're finally starting to see that there's a lot of unused unused people out there that could be making them a lot of money.
Right.
Um, it's not only good for the culture and good for the sport, it's good for the skaters. Um, uh, and it not only does it allow them to kind of pioneer new things and make new skates, new boots, new ideas and stuff like that. It allows the skaters to kind of be a part of that more now because that's where the bread and butter is You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So the bread and butter's not in skating rinks anymore. It's in the skaters. It's the skaters who show up to your events. It's the DJs that show up that are DJing your event. It's the music that the DJs are playing. It's not no longer the rink anymore. Like, and we wish the rink makes a big deal and the floor makes a big deal, but a lot of it is, those, top three things I just said. But I tell you, a good fast floor is always a blessing. I love Kate's, man. I like we've been going out to Kate's out there at Gastonia. I think we've been like two or three different times. We went out there about 2 weeks ago. Dude, that floor is so freaking fast, man. It's so
Oh, I
fun.
loved skating it a couple months back, man. Oh, I
It's so
absolutely.
fun. Yeah, I'm ready for. I know Scott's about to redo our. I think he is. I think I heard him say he's about to put roll out on the floor again. So when he does that little floor with fresh roll on. He's been so busy, man. He hadn't had like a couple of days where he could do it because he's been
Mhm.
so busy. I probably, it takes a day or so for it to dry.
Yeah.
But when he does that floor, man, you talk about getting going fast. You can get like, cause there's so like with my Simmons with nobody on the floor. I don't know if you've ever witnessed like a Naira Nationals, the Naira track.
Oh,
It's
yeah, yeah,
more like
okay, yeah,
speed skating, like speed
yeah, yeah,
skating.
yeah.
It's pretty.
Yep.
If the track is smaller, it's brought in. It's pretty much like a big. It's like a big kind of ovally circle type deal. And
Right.
with that rink, with scooters, like it's perfectly that. So you can literally when you get crossing, you can literally just cross and lean. You never stand straight up on that floor and just keep going, keep going.
You're
And you
going
literally
further. Yeah.
you keep getting what happens you get so fast and you start to veer off more to the so you can't go so fast because you're starting to get on the wall pretty much from your circle, so it's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. I miss speed skating, man. I wish I could get back into it, but it's just you gotta do one or the other, man. I think if you're gonna do it, you're gonna compete and do certain things. I think if you try to do too much, try to put too much on your plate, they're you're never gonna be at your full potential at either one.
Right.
So I had to make a decision, man, and I still put them on every now and again, but that's where they sit for the most part on the wall.
Well, look, man, I gotta start wrapping this up. But is there anything that you wanted to throw out there? Anything that you wanted to promote? Anything that you wanted to make sure that you said before we end this?
No, man, I mainly just wanted to come on here, man, and support you, brother. I see you out there, I see you doing your thing. I seen you talk about this, and that's what we do, man. And I think if we keep supporting, skaters keep supporting skaters, the sky's the limit for the sport. I do believe. And the bigger it gets, the better it's going to be. Cause skating died out for a long time there. It felt like, skate rinks are closing all across the United States.
Yeah.
So, you know, um, I think there's a lot of opportunities there. There's a lot of missed opportunities, that could be had too when it comes to, knowing your customer base pretty much. You know what I mean? You might not want to open a skating rink out on Highway 76. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, with 1,200 people around. So I think, the skate rinks that you see that are closing now, the reason why I say that, the skate rinks that you see closing now are those types of skating rinks. So, but the ones the owners, are getting the DJs in there, and redoing the floors and putting, money in their rinks, lights, carpet. Um, I think that's happening more. So it's bringing more people. So I think as skaters, as our part, the more we can share and support our local rinks and support each other. Um, I told Scott one time, I said, man, I think I put your scooters logo on my videos more than my, more than my SC logo. So, in which and that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
But and that's it, man. I really, I love the direction the sport's going. And there's a couple things I really didn't talk about because I want to leave some stuff for Ben. So make sure you ask him. So the first Shuffle Down Road Town, me and Quan competed in it and we won it. The second one, it was us as a
Okay.
four group. So the Shuffle Down Road Town number two, let him tell you about that one. Tell him to tell you some of those stories about that trip, man. It was a wild trip. I think I probably spent, cause, they weren't going to go, him and Aiden weren't going to go to it. And I was like, man, y'all, dude, we got this. Y'all gotta come. So I begged them to come, man. It's like, and they got it, and then we won. And then that hooked them. Cause I knew it. I said, man, if y'all go and then we win, I'm telling you, this is what you're gonna want to do. And I ain't lying to them. So, uh, that was a fun one, man,
Awesome.
because because we were able to, I was able to bring my videographer. So I still got footage from that trip that I have never posted because it's just so much.
Wow.
But man, I appreciate everything you're doing for the sport, brother. And I just really wanted to come on here and support you, man. So I appreciate you letting me tell my story too. But anytime, man, anytime you need me.
Oh man, well, dude, I appreciate you coming on so much, man. I was really looking forward to this. I mean, like, there's a couple people that I follow a lot of skaters, obviously, but some I follow because I I just love what they're doing. I love the content. I love like their attitude. And then but then there's a few people that I love like to watch skate, man. And like you're on like
Yeah.
this short list of people, man, that I absolutely dig what you're doing. I 100% respect the fact that like there's not another. There's not another one. There's nobody else doing it like doing what you're doing like what you do. And I just always respect anybody that's trying to like kind of pave their own way and do their own thing, man. You
Yeah,
know.
well, I mean, so that's funny you say that, man, because I look at you like that, man, because I'm a big fan of footwork, man. So some of the stuff you do, and that's I think that's what it is, man. We each see each other and we're like, man, I like what he's doing. You know what I mean? I'm gonna support this guy because he's supporting other skaters. Um, and I think, man, I think if we keep that up and we keep the positivity, man, and we keep that camaraderie going. I mean, sky's the limit for this sport, man. But I do appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate you saying that, dude. Because honestly, like when anyone tells me that, as far as like that they like watching what I do and everything, because like even from hearing it from you, man. I mean, I appreciate it because I look at it and I'm like, what? I'm like, no, like, but you're really doing this, dude. You know what I mean? So all respect, much love. Thank you so much, man. I thank you for taking the time to do this. I know it's a big chunk of time, man. Um, I really look forward to, like you said, the follow like the next year. You know what I mean? Coming up, I'd
Oh
love to
yeah.
sit here from now and absolutely take appraisal of like where we
We're
were
gonna,
at this day
well,
to then.
well,
I would love to do that. Like we're gonna book it after we get done
yeah,
with this.
exactly. Yep. We're gonna go ahead and put it on the calendar, man. I'm telling you, we're gonna look back at it and be like, man, well, you was right, brother. Um, but yeah, man. And man, but also we definitely need to link up too, man, because I wanna start doing some stuff, man. I would like to do like an East Coast, North South, some type of competition, man. I really would. And I talked to Mayhem and Jams about it. I know Michelle's in, man. I like to do like something where you do one up there and we do one here and we do one here and then like we have one and then later on the winners of those compete in you know what I mean? So I think there's to be able to make it more of a broad spectrum instead of just like everybody from Florida competing or this, it'd be like, Philly,
Oh yeah, and
outside East Coast Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and then like have kind of like what we did when we were younger at our skate rink, but on a, citywide, like, or a statewide type deal. So,
yeah,
we
man.
definitely need to talk
So
about
what?
that.
That's an amazing idea, and I'm in. And dude,
Yeah.
I'm in. I will definitely. We got to get together on that. I mean, because really, like basically, kind of like why don't we have more competitions like the way we have shuffle events? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
exactly.
yeah.
I don't
Oh
know,
man,
man. I
man, that's
would
great.
love, dude.
I'd love
What
to
I would
collab.
love. Yeah, what I would love, and I haven't had, I would love, not that I love skating in the team. The team ones to me are harder than the single competitions, but I also like, I used to like skating in the single competitions, like, cause
Yeah,
you got your own little routine. There's a lot of stuff, you can kind of implement your own little style, and you got, cause there's stuff that I do, like I jump the wall, I do carpet stuff. So there's, you got to do 1 foot turns in the air and all that good stuff. But they're just not there, and I think with the sport growing and it climaxing like it is right now, I think this, it's a good, I think now, will be that time to just,
time is
implement
high.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
I think it would be successful, man. I think it would be, if we get the right people and because, mainly it's all about the people you bring in, the people you organize with, and then the DJs.
Yeah.
So, and with the group that we got and, as tight as we all are, man, I think it would be freaking awesome. So,
Well, I tell you what, man, I'm in, and I'll forewarn you, right? Like when I kind of get my claws into something. I mean, if you haven't already figured it out,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I'm the same way, bro.
I'm all
As
about
you
it,
can
man. So
tell.
get ready, right, for me to bug you
Let's
and try.
go. Let's go. Gotta get it
All
while it's
right,
hot,
man.
baby.
Well, hey, man, I appreciate this again so much, man. Awesome. Good luck in O Town in November. I'm definitely going to be. I'm going to do my best to get down there for that. It's tough just with Thanksgiving, but I want to see that so bad, man. So
Yo,
I'm going to.
it's,
You thank you
it, it,
so.
it, it is tough, man, but it is probably like that is one of probably the best events like that I've been to in a long time because it's a when you even at the first session on Friday night when you walk in that door, it's competition mode. Like people are already peeping the teams, and they're seeing if we're coming. Well, there's some new teams coming this year. There's going to be a lot of talent there this year. And, this will be the hardest one to date. But it's just it's different, man. That's the only one all year for us right now anyway. So like, if you're going to hit, like to me, if you're going to go to any of them to witness that in person, man, you at least got to do it once. I think that one of the guys said something one time. It was like, yeah, if we do win the third one, we're gonna compete for the fourth year. I said, man, we're gonna compete until they take the crown from us.
I was.
If it's,
It's funny.
if it,
I kept in my head as we're talking, and as you were talking, I
yeah.
kept saying to myself, I got to ask him that. I got to ask him that. So I'm glad you actually brought that up.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. So there's
we're gonna keep going, man. We're gonna keep like so and I'm gonna get off here after this, but so like when I was little, I progressed in my age group because I was always chasing my brothers. So I was probably good enough to skate in the older group when I was in
yeah,
my like 10, 11, 12 year olds, but I was too young, so I had to skate in the younger group. So after like the sixth or seventh yearly that I won in a row. It was kind of like, bro, like what's going on? Like, and so then right around that, I think the sixth one or the fifth one is right when Mr. Carter, well, I think had drove by, he passed away. The seventh one was with Mr. Carter's son who was running the rink. And it's a funny story we did the yearly and they said I lost, but they knew I won, but they said I lost and they gave it to somebody else. And the freaking crowd, bro, went crazy and like stormed the DJ booth. There's probably 50 people like, what are you doing? Because they were like, "Dude." So then he was like, all right. So then he was like, we're just going to let the crowd, they're going to go again. We're going to play a song and we're going to let the crowd choose. And I was like, I got to skate a whole nother 3 minutes. You know, like, oh, what? Are you kidding? I'm gassed. So like we skated again. He cut the song on and it was just me and one other dude. And we skated and, I think he fell. He tried to do like a 1.5 and I didn't fall. And he fell. And I'm not gonna say his name because it doesn't matter. He was a good skater, man. It was me and him every year, neck to neck. You know what I mean? But he could always jump real good. Um, but yeah, it ended up, so afterwards, a song went off, whatever, and he's like, we'll let the crowd do this, whatever. And, they did him, did me, and of course, they went crazy. And that was the last time that I skated in a yearly, and I was probably, I don't know, 13 then, 14 then. I was in it was like the first or second year of the older group. But, but that's the last time I skated in a yearly when I was younger, and that's the last time I skated at that rink until years later when Scott bought it.
No kidding.
So, yeah, man, just because, he was, not to say anything bad about anybody or anything like that. The son just wasn't he just wasn't, he didn't skate. He wasn't familiar with the business and he tried to change a bunch of stuff. So it just, once you kill the atmosphere, man, it kind of puts a damper on everything. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
kind of the nail in the coffin for me with that whole competition stuff. So
yeah,
it's like, man, you knew I won. Why you want to cheat and try to give it to him, man? Which he did skate good, and it was close, but you know when you won.
right,
So
yeah.
yeah, that happened at O-Town last year. So the crowd, they let the crowd pick, and then they had three judges. So, they had the home crowd and they let the crowd go first. And then the crowd, like, pretty much, they were a little louder than when they announced us. So they had thought they had won. And all the guys were like, no, there ain't no way they won. I'm like, no, man. I was like, that's just one judge. So, cause it's the crowd's one judge there, and then you got three judges. So it was three to
Okay,
one. So it was the crowd and then the three judges. So three judges picked us, and then the crowd was one for the other team. But they did the crowd first. So everybody was like thinking that they won. I'm like, whoa, y'all are tripping. It's like, no, don't work like that. I was like, now if it was close, like if it was close, I could see the crowd maybe picking it up.
right,
But
right,
yeah,
right.
you gotta, their home crowd. The home crowd's always going to be, so it's kind of, in my idea, we got to go even harder just so we if we're going to blow it out the water, if we need to blow it out the water, we'll just blow it out the water. Um, but, but man, I appreciate it, brother. I know you're ready to get off here. I am too. My little man's been back there in the room.
No, no, no. It's all good, man. It's all good. There's like a 2 hour max where it'll stop on me on the so
Are you good? I was just chat. I wanted to tell you that story, man. I thought it was pretty funny.
no, it's all good, man. Dude, this time flies by for me. I was telling Lacey after we talked yesterday. I was like, my goal, like for like every guest, hopefully, because a lot of people are like, you tell them like, oh, plan for an hour and a half, and they're like, oh my god, I don't know if I can talk for an hour and a half. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, so I always tell them like, look, either you are the type of person that can talk for an hour and a half on your own, which is great, makes my job easy, I, or trust me, I can steer the ship and get us there. So don't worry, right? But my
Yeah.
goal, I was saying to Lacey, I want my goal for every guest to feel like even if it was an hour and 45 minutes for them to be like, oh my god, that was so fast. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well, I mean, how long has it been? 2 hours?
We're at an hour and 49.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Yeah, when you told me an hour and a half, I was like, then I started thinking about, I was like, man, there ain't enough time. I'd probably take me about 3 hours. Like if we just went through all these trophies, it'd probably take 4 hours. Like all the stories, like here, check it. Like look at this. This is all. I was looking at these, man. This is all medals from speed skating, like over the years. I was looking at that, and they were up there, and I moved them, and they fell down. And I was like, goodness gracious. It's just cool, man. Like when I won, cause after nationals, I got third place. And then I went and we competed at Naira Nationals. And I won the Naira Nationals in 2012. That was a fun. Cause that's the first time I ever skated that track. So in about a six year span, I probably won 40, 50 titles speed skating. I mean, it's up there, you know. So I mean, and,
Wow.
and they're not all like first place. I mean, there's some I got second, third, and stuff like that. Because I mean, they're you never know, man. You could go to one meet, bro, and there'd be one guy there that just laps you. You know what I mean? Or some
Right.
guy that's like when you're skating a 30 lap, you get on like lap 15, he just takes off from you, and you're like, what the hell? So, and that's it, man. Like with that sport, you never know, man, because there's some guy right now that's probably outdoor skating right now,
Training
killing
his
it. That's
butt
yeah,
off.
that's gonna win this year. That I just didn't have it in me for speed skating anymore. But I mean,
Yeah.
I'd love to get back into it. But I think shelf skating is where it's at. I think that's I think that's gonna be the big thing for the next 4 or 5 years. I think, and not to say that jam skating ain't gonna be. I just think um when it comes to skating, like roller skating, like actual skating, like shuffle skating to me is more of that roller skating type deal than it is more of like a break dance. And it would jam skating, but no nothing against them or anything on there because dude, I can't spin on my head and I can't do hardly any of that stuff. So when I see it done on skates and some like Diamond Walker, like some of the footwork he does, man, and then he spins on it and he goes and does it, I'm
No.
like, I
Yeah.
can't do it, man. I can't, I would love to be able to do it and I would love to be able to say I can do it, but I can't. So I don't knock them. You know what I mean? I love it. I love it. It's different, and it's funny because at least in our city, right around when disco skating got changed to shuffle skating, jam skating had just like been introduced.
Right.
So like, it was like, okay, jam skating's here and it's like the new cool thing. Disco skating is the old thing. So that's when they changed the name and kind of everybody started calling it shuffle skating. Disco skating wasn't cool anymore. But to me, it will always be disco skating because everything, dude, everything we're doing now, like, besides some of the crazy stuff that I do, like jumping on the wall and all that stuff, but most of the
Hmm.
stuff that we're doing, them guys were doing in the '80s, man. Like that,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
style we have now are from probably collectively from about probably 10 or 15 dudes from the '80s and '90s from our ring that I just picked up on over the years. So
Hmm.
it's nothing new. We're not doing, we've just progressed it in layman's
Yeah.
terms. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but bro, I appreciate you, man.
Man,
And
thank you so much. This was
when's
a
y'all's
blast.
next event? When's y'all's next event?
So Philly is coming up in November, the skate bash. So
November.
9th.
Okay.
That's when
November 9th.
we're and I'm going
Yeah,
out to Ohio. Obviously, flying over the Castle Wall coming up the 6th and 7th of this
how,
month.
what's
Or I mean,
how's that out there?
dude, you've never been to the castle
I've
in
I've
like
never I've never been. I've been to Nebraska. I've never
oh
been to Ohio.
oh man. So the castle in it's like just outside of Cincinnati in Loveland. Um, it's like one of the biggest rotunda floors like in the country. It's amazing. Yeah, yeah. I had a blast going last year. Looking forward to it. A lot of people will be there. You know what I mean? But that's coming up. Me and Ed Emmett, OG Smooth are gonna drive down together.
Oh,
So
you're gonna
he's
drive. So how
yeah, he's a
far is that from? How far is that from you?
drive, so it's not that bad.
5 hours?
About 7.5, so it's not
Seven and a
that
half?
bad.
Yeah, it's
Oh
not that
man.
bad. Yeah, Orlando's like, if you stop a couple times, man, when we drove, we're flying this year, but last year we've driven every other year. It's like a 9 hour trip, so I know the feeling. And hell, I'll tell you about so the first shuffle down in O Town, me and Quan went, so there was like 5 wrecks on the way there. We almost turned around and come back like 3, 4 different times. And I was like, man,
Oh
I was
wow.
like, we're never gonna make it. We're never gonna make it. And then Quan was like, man, just go. We'll just go back. And I was like, well, man, if we turn around and go back, we're not gonna make our Thursday adult night either because we're 4 hours away. It'll be closed. But I was like, so we might as well just keep going. So we just
Right.
like, fuck it, man. It was like we just gonna keep going. So we get there. It's like soon as we walk in the door, DJ, I don't know if it was Jams or Mayhem that time, but, they were like, all right, competitor, you got 2 minutes. We just paid, got our armbands. We're walking in the door from that 9 hour trip. And they're like, skaters, you got 2 minutes and we're going to start the shovel skate competition. So we're like, so they run down the side, start putting their skates on. They turn the lights on, and literally as we tie our last skate, they started playing the music, and we started skating.
Wow.
It was storybook, man. And then we won, and I think that was Quan. And that, it kind of warmed my heart when he told me this, and I'm glad it's awesome I was able to do it for him. But it was the first trophy or anything that he ever won.
Oh wow.
And So like for him, man, it was, it was a big deal. Like he was tearing up and stuff, so. And
That's
there ain't
awesome.
ain't many things that can bring you out of you when you get in your adult life, man. So, and that's what it's
Right.
all about.
That's
Brother.
beautiful. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
man. I thought you liked that.
All right, man. All right, I got to jump off here, man. But thank you again so much. I'm looking forward to putting this up there. Man. Gonna
All right.
do real well.
Well,
Oh,
all
dude,
right, man.
yeah,
I appreciate you, man.
yeah, man. Keep in touch, man. Let's talk more about making some moves here the next year. Okay.
Definitely, definitely. All right, brother. Have a good night, man.
All right, man. You too.
Later.